Hey YouTube, today we're going to be reading the very long TWID that came out today, highlighting major D2 changes to the ability sandbox and a lot of exotic armor changes. A different Bungie article came out earlier today about the in-game Fireteam finder coming to Season 23. I won't include that in today's video because it's already really long. Go ahead and use the timestamps below if you want to jump around to whatever part of the video, and skip to the end if you want to hear my short first impression thoughts on everything mentioned in the TWID. But hit the pause button real quick because it's time to talk about your dick with the sponsor of today's video, MANSCAPED. MANSCAPED has the confidence of more than 9 million men worldwide, which is roughly 18 million balls, by the way. And if you're not on board yet, there's never been a better time to jump on the hygiene train. Introducing the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, featuring their all-new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra electronic trimmer. The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra has next-gen dual skin-safe blade heads, now accompanied by an upgraded trimmer blade and interchangeable foil blade for enhanced performance. It's tough on hair, yet incredibly gentle on skin. Not only that, but the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra has a bigger LED light and introduces a brand new dual temperature feature engineered to embrace and flatter multiple skin tones. But the best part, it's still waterproof, baby. Take that into the shower whenever you want. And it doesn't stop there. When you purchase the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, you'll receive 2 free gifts: a pair of Boxers 2.0 and their brand new Shed 2.0, aka your grooming command center. Join the millions of men worldwide who have put their trust in Manscaped. Head on over to manscaped.com/falloutplays and get 20% off your order. Again, that is manscaped.com/falloutplays. Thank you, Manscaped. All right, without further ado, the TWID. This week in Destiny, we are twitting a bit early. Thursday is Thanksgiving in the United States, and many at Bungie are taking the day to spend time with their loved ones. One reason to be grateful is the amazing community that has grown for years around Destiny. Thank you for being here, Guardians. Also, this is the last TWID before Season of the Wish, yeah? But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Here's what we have for today. Our latest collaboration, Witcher. The new seasonal artifact and its perks. Changes coming to abilities next season, and to many exotic armor pieces too. Fireteam Finder Beta, which we read about earlier. New cutscene added to our archive. D2 expansions are on sale. Our weekly player support report, and the latest movie of the week and art of the week picks. Ready? Let's go. Announcing our latest collaboration. Saladin may call him the White Wolf. Marasov would refer to him as Gwynblade. I don't know what that is. And the Cabal, I haven't played Witcher. The Cabal would revel in the stories about the Butcher of Blaviken. He has many names, but for us he is Geralt of Rivia, whose gear is the focus of our latest collaboration. We'll share more details about it, as well as a trailer very soon. For now, gaze at the amazing art we shared yesterday. Once again, Hunter and Titan have incredible goddamn looking armor. Really, really badass. The Warlock said, it's just not doing it for me. I don't know why. It's just like, why do they look so good? He just looks so goofy. I don't know. Maybe it's me. New artifact, who dis? It's high time we show you the upcoming season's artifact perks so you can start thinking about new builds. We are focusing on 3 elements: solar, strand, and stasis. There's also a focus on rocket launchers. Some new and very strong perks around ignitions and shatter, and even some beloved perks making a comeback. Are they beloved though? All in all, the Queen's Foil sensor allows for several outstanding combinations. Okay, that is the artifact. Great. Wow, we have just everything here. Okay, column 1. We'll do one column at a time. Anti-barrier sidearm, unstoppable hand cannon, cool. Unstoppable bow, I like that. Overload auto rifle, nice. Overload pulse rifle. So we only have one anti-barrier. That's okay. We have plenty of other anti-barrier options. Fair enough. Okay, column 2, Flame, Fiber, and Freeze combines the Solar Strand and Solar Stasis Siphon. Kindling Trigger, Radiant causes solar weapons to apply Scorch, to unscorched combatants. That is pretty good. Blast Radius, rapid final blows with rocket launchers and grenade launchers grant armor charge. That is actually pretty tight. That'll go really well with like Forbearance and PvE. As long as you can use that for breach grenade launchers. Origin perk specialization improves the benefits provided by the Sundering, nano munitions, and nanotech tracer origin. Okay, That's fine. And they're always overcharged. From Whence You Came. Increase ability damage to taken and scorn combatants. That'll probably do really well in Season of the Wish, where we'll probably be spending time in the Dreaming City or adjacent to. Column 3. Flint Striker. Rapid solar weapon precision hits and rapid solar weapon final blows give Radiant. Okay. That'll pair well with Kindling Trigger. Nice. Torch. When Radiant, deal increased weapon damage to combatants affected by Strand and Stasis debuffs. Okay, a little bit of a team build perk there. Heart of the Flame. Casting your super, your solar super, rather, grants nearby allies Radiant and increases the damage of your super for each nearby ally. Okay, digging that. Origin perk specialization 2 improves the benefits provided by the Noble Deeds, Unsated Hunger, Head Rush, and Dragon's Vengeance origin traits. Okay, and they're always overcharged. Wished into Being. When your super is near fully charged, ability final blows spawn orbs of power. Near fully charged? What are we talking? Like 90%, 95, 99? Wearing Season of the Wish armor decreases super amount threshold. Wow. Huh, okay. Encouraging people to wear different armor. Column 4, Unraveling Orbs. Picking up an orb of power grants strand weapons unraveling. That is very good. Pillar of Ice. Killing an encased combatant spawns stasis crystals. Okay. Revitalizing Blast. Causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions and bosses for a short duration. I wonder what the level of weaken effect is. That solar looking pretty good right now. Overload rocket launchers. Oh, good call. Okay. Dragon's Bite. Breaking a combatant shield with a strand or stasis weapon, it has a chance to suspend or freeze that combatant. Wearing Season of the Wish armor increases that chance. This is really interesting. Specifically the fact that they're trying to get us to wear new armor. I was kind of, not to sidetrack, but I was wondering, like, what is the incentive for me to change my armor in a new season when I have God Roll armor from way back when that I've been wearing forever? I guess this is a good incentive. Putting stuff on the artifact that can change depending on the current season armor. Interesting. Horde Shuttle. Damaging unraveled targets with a weapon occasionally spawns a threadling. Okay. Don't really care about that too much. Hail the Storm. Shattering encased targets and stasis crystals deal increased damage. Shattering a stasis crystal releases shards of ice that damage and slow targets. Rays of Precision. When Radiant, solar precision final blows cause combatants to ignite. Yeah, I'm reading the TWID right now, yeah. Solo Operative. While you are the only member of your fire team, you deal increased damage to all combatants. That is... Someone tell Leopard. Tell Lep. He'll be happy about that, chat. Argent Ordnance. Firing a rocket launcher consumes 1 stack of armor charge, granting increased damage and reload speed until you reload or stow your next rocket launcher. Nice. Rocket bros are happy. Okay, fair enough. Ability change is coming next week. Season of the Wish drops next week. Here's a preview of the coming sandbox tuning in Season of the Wish and beyond. To set the stage, let's lay out our overall goals for this release. Ensuring that abilities, particularly those in our longer cooldown tiers, are meeting our intended cost to output ratio. Cost to output, yeah, that makes sense. Reducing cases of player survivability that exceeded our power bar. Making first steps at Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn tuning. Oh, damn. You hear that, Anno? Taking a tuning pass on stasis abilities with more to come in the future. Boy, oh boy. Let's get started. We've laid this out a number of times in previous posts, but it's worth repeating. We believe that powerful abilities need to come at a meaningful cost to the player to force difficult decisions about what fits best in their build. To put it plainly, we're not hitting that goal. There are many build crafting avenues that grant flat chunks of ability energy and ignore ability cooldown timers. True. This gives them extremely inconsistent value depending on what grenade, melee, or class ability you have equipped. Here's an example. A perk that grants 10% energy, grenade energy, on activation results in a cooldown reduction of 6.4 seconds to Firebolt, but results in a cooldown reduction of 15.2 for a lightning grenade. When players stack these build crafting elements together, grenade kickstart, innervation, absolution, demolitionist, it results in a long cooldown ability having uptime that is dramatically higher than what we intend for their potency level. With Season of the Wish, we are taking a first step at addressing that problem. Starting in update 7.3.0, the base passive cooldown timers for abilities will also influence the amount of chunk energy they receive from perks. For our fastest charging abilities, things are not changing. But as we progress through the passive cooldown tiers into the slower charging abilities, that immediate burst of energy will be reduced to a floor of 50% of base for our slowest charging grenade and class abilities, and 60% for our slowest charging melee abilities. Here's that same example. Under the new system, a perk that grants a base value of 10% grenade energy of activation results in a cooldown of 6.4 seconds for Firebolt grenade and results in a cooldown reduction of 7.6 seconds for lightning grenade. In the chat, let's go? It sounds good to me. With Season of the Wish, we're only implementing this change for grenade, melee, and class abilities. Perks that add super energy are unchanged. We're also so much to read. We're also excluding any perk that either intentionally grants a full refund, like Knock 'em Down, or targets only a single specific ability, like Shinobu's Vow. Got it. These will still work identically to their behavior in the live game. That makes sense. In our playtesting, this results in more of the intended variance between high and low uptime abilities and an opportunity cost that more closely matches potency, but we don't expect or desire that anyone's build is going to be made obsolete overnight by this change. We're going to keep iterating on this new system going forward, so expect future updates as we see how it plays out. Okay, fair enough. Staying alive. As our roster of player-elected difficulty activities has expanded in recent years, we've shifted the sandbox to enable more of our often risky gameplay loops to feel effective against increasingly difficult lineup of combatants. This can be seen in the addition of more defense or support-focused tools, including the standardization of overshields, expanded access to healing through restoration and cure, and the development of keywords like woven mail. However, we still need our aspirational content to remain challenging. We're currently in a position where applying combat pressure to a well-build-crafted player is extremely difficult. It's very true. We've never been this powerful before, which doesn't leave our activity teams with many options for tuning difficulty while still having things feel fair. In short, player survivability at the top end is too high, a problem we've touched on in the past, and we need to find a better balance between the two extremes of enabling players to heedlessly dive into the fray or making it feel like long-range chip damage is the only option to clear an encounter. To that end, we're making an initial pass at tuning some of our top-end outliers, but we anticipate that this will be a process that takes place over many releases so that we can ensure that things are trending in a healthy way. For this first pass, we're targeting a small number of subclass keywords that we believe most strongly contribute, to excessive survivability in combat: woven mail, restoration, and devour. With update 7.2.0, we took a small stab at woven mail's PvE damage reduction, but with 7.3.0, we're reducing it further by 10%. While this is a relatively small change, we want to evaluate it alongside some other changes to Banner of War, oh boy, that you'll read about later on before taking any larger swings. Okay, woven mail, reduced PvE damage resist from 55 to 45. Man, 55, that's so high. Yeah, I think that's a good change. Restoration's heal rate is being reduced in both PvE and PvP. Similar to the Woven Mail case, we want to see how this feels alongside some changes to Throwing Hammer and Soul Invictus. Restoration, reduced healing rate at restoration times 1, old, 40 HP per second, 20 HP per second, PvP. New, 35, that's fairly tame. 17.5 for PvP. Okay. I thought they were going to be like, we're taking it down to 20 in PvE. Like, that would have been crazy. Reduced healing rate at restoration times 2. Old, we're going 65 to 50 for PvE and 32.5 to 25 for PvP. That's not that bad. That's not that bad. Last up is Devour, whose potency is largely due to the ease of use of the Echo of Starvation Fragment. True. Which was initially developed when there were fewer orbs of power. You can make orbs of power so easy now. Reaper, it's just so free. We're making a targeted change to Devour that excludes Voidwalkers, reducing its heal amount from 200 HP to 100 HP, unless Feed the Void is equipped. For our Voidwalkers out there, we're also increasing the amount of grenade energy that Devour defeats grant with Feed the Void to offset some of the chunk energy detailed above. Devour, healing amount, both on activation and when refreshed, reduced from a full heal to 100 HP unless Feed the Void is equipped. Now refills both health and shield sections more smoothly rather than added health to each section separately. Feed the Void. Increased grenade energy regeneration per kill while Devour is active. The amount varies based on the type of target defeated. Now also improves the strength of Devour's heal when equipped. Okay. This is going to be an ongoing process, so please continue to give feedback on how things are feeling and we'll adjust accordingly as we go forward. Okay. Sprint and slide melees. Here we go. In update 3.4.0, we made the decision to remove the capability for shoulder charge abilities, Shield Bash, Seismic Strike. Did I say that right? It's one of those words growing up I said wrong all the time. And Hammer Strike to one-shot enemy players. This was part of an ongoing effort to make sure that any one-shot ability in the game comes with significant risk or cost, whether that's a significant wind-up time, Thunderclap, or Consecration, aim skill, Flux Grenade, or a specific build crafting choice, Peregrine Greaves. We believe that this is the right call, and we want to maintain the intended level of risk for using powerful melee abilities against players. Seismic. Growing up, Twitch chat, you gotta forgive me. Growing up, I played Pokemon, and I was just a fucking kid, and all the kids on the playground, they all called it Seismic Toss. You know, the move deals HP damage equal to your level. They all called it Seismic. I grew up calling it wrong, didn't learn until much later. Seismic. I need to beat it into my head. Seismic. It's like I've been calling it wrong my whole Pokemon. Damn you. Okay, moving on. Players are currently able to circumvent this change by sliding, firing their weapon, and still being able to initiate a shoulder charge or slide melee. That is true. This results in an effective one-shot kill that is extremely difficult to track or understand if you're on the receiving end. Starting in Season of the Wish, firing your weapon while sliding will now prevent the activation of sprint or slide-activated melees. That is a good change. We originally intended for this change to be isolated to shoulder charge abilities, but our initial playtesting, we quickly realized that the shoulder charge was easily replaceable with a Tempest Strike, Lightning Surge, or other slide melees, so we're including them in this change as well. Okay, I mean, that makes sense to me. I think a lot of Titan mains are probably going to be not happy about that, but it makes sense to me. I'm not going to be too, torn up about that change. It happens to me a lot in PvP. Sprint and slide activated melees can no longer be activated after the player fires their weapon during a slide. This affects the following melee abilities: Seismic Strike, Shield Bash, Hammer Strike, Howl Storm, Consecration, Flechette Storm, Lightning Surge, Tempest Strike. Yeah, they'll live. Alongside this change, we're also increasing the potency of Tempest Strike. Ooh, somebody tell Cool Guy. which has felt somewhat left behind given the powerful synergy between flow state and lethal current. Tempest Strike, increased base damage from 110 to 125. It's not huge. Reworked tracking behavior to be more consistent at longer ranges. Improved consistency when traveling over rough terrain. Okay. Bonk Hammer and the much expected Banner of War nerf. If you didn't think Banner of War was getting touched, you are hitting the pipe, bro. With Season of the Witch, we released Banner of War, which has quickly jumped to the top of the aspect list for our Titan players. It is currently equipped for nearly 20% of all Titan playtime for Season of the Witch PvE activity. This is rivaled only by Into the Fray at 15% of playtime, which is Banner's natural pairing. True. We're very happy with the way Banner of War has supported the Berserker class fantasy and don't want to reduce its ability to do so when at maximum charge. However, it's currently too easy to build up that maximum charge very quickly in content with sufficient density of combatants, especially with the help of teammates. With Season of the Wish, we are making a change to slow down the charge progression, increasing the number of defeats required to level the banner up at each tier. That makes sense. As part of the change, we are also slightly increasing the timer extension granted by each enemy defeated to compensate. Banner of War increased the number of enemy defeats necessary to level up the banner by approximately double and increased the amount of time added per enemy defeat at each level to compensate. These values vary depending on the type of target. Fixed an issue where the unpowered swords were being granted a damage boost by Banner of War. Okay, I mean, all things considered, that seems pretty tame for Banner of War. I think they may have gotten off light. We'll see. I think Banner of War will still be good. Don't cry yet, Titan Bros. All right, let's talk Bonk. Prior to Solar 3.0, Throwing Hammer was in the code of the Devastator subclass tree, which didn't have much in the way of survivability tools other than picking up the hammer after a hit. That meant players needed to be significantly more careful in their play and generally weren't as capable of standing in a champion or boss's face with impunity while they chucked a hammer at its torso over and over. While this makes for a fun visual, it really does. We don't believe that this behavior is healthy for the game, so alongside the changes to restoration detailed above, we are looking more fundamentally at how Throwing Hammer functions. We started this section off talking about the relationship between potency and uptime, and how the rules of the sandbox begin to break down when these don't match up for a given ability. Throwing Hammer isn't currently matching up. We don't want to remove the full energy refund on pickup because the conventional gameplay loop is still really fun, but we do want to add some downtime between throws to discourage the stand next to the boss and bonk them forever behavior. Got it. To that end, picking up a Throwing Hammer will now return its energy over a short duration rather than instantly. We're also increasing the projectile's tracking strength so that players who choose to check the hammer at longer ranges are more consistently rewarded for taking that risk. Let me reread that. To that end, picking up the Throwing Hammer will now return its energy over a short duration rather than instantly. Yeah, that is going to significantly hurt the potency of PvE Bonk Hammer. Yeah. Damn, okay. That's very interesting. Throwing Hammer, when picked up, now returns melee energy over 1.4 seconds rather than immediately. That's not too horrible. 1.4. Increased projectile tracking strength by about 20%. I guess we'll have to see how that pans out. I mean, Twitch chat, let me know what you think right now, but like, I feel like Bonk Hammer has been pretty OP in PvE for a while, right? You're trying to solo an activity, it's like, just go Bonk Hammer. I don't know. Maybe the Titan Bros are going to be mad about the butchering of their precious Mjolnir fantasy, but let me know. Okay, part of the equation is Soul Invictus. Ah, yes, which offers reliable safe havens in a sunspot. This is so much to read. Similarly to our throwing hammer changes, we don't want to discourage players who want to move from position to position, advancing through the combat space. But we do want to make sure that players who bunker in dangerous positions, like at the feet of a boss, aren't able to do so for too long, okay? Sol Invictus reduced maximum sunspot duration from 20 to 12. Okay. This duration is only ever reached when the player is standing inside the sunspot, right? Sunspot duration without the owner standing inside it remains unchanged at 5 seconds. Got it. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's going to murder Bonk Titan, but it will definitely make it weaker for solo PvE activity. Those two changes together. I guess we'll have to see how they pan out. Unsure if I will use a Titan to solo flawless the new dungeon. We'll see. Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn. Here we go. With update 3.4.0, we made a change to our super cooldowns, putting Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn in the fastest recharging tier. This decision was largely based on their kill potential versus supers that deal burst damage or allow you to roam the field for potential team wipes. The game has changed significantly. Yeah, true. And with changes to trials, Dominion as the game mode, and shorter round times in general, we wanted to reevaluate their placement. I fucking told them that this would be a problem with Dominion trials. In Season of the Wish, we're increasing their base cooldown times by 1 tier, matching the passive cooldowns of some of our burst supers. 1 tier? Oh, go for 2. And for PvP. Oh God, is this happening for PvP and PvE? Oh, please God. Please be PvP only. I don't want to deal with the comments that PvP players are ruining the game for everybody again. Okay, like Blade Barrage or Chaos Reach, our goal is for Well and Ward to have stronger competition in round-based modes, giving other players more tools to effectively deal with them under the time pressure that a mode like Dominion has. Well of Radiance, God damn it, it seems like this is, hold on, let me keep reading. On a longer time frame, we're evaluating Well and Ward's place in the sandbox more fundamentally. These two supers are currently operating in too similar a space, yeah they are, leaving little room for them to breathe on their own. Well of Radiance in particular offers too much, and its effective invulnerability is not something we believe the sandbox can or should continue to support. Can you hear that? It's the sound of Saltagrepo popping a bottle of champagne. We're not making further changes to Well or Ward with Season of the Wish, but we have a suite of future changes planned to reduce Well's dominance in PvE and push the gameplay space of these two supers further apart. We'll provide more details on that closer to their release. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. I suspected that that was coming. Yeah, Well of Radiance and Ward of Dawn, they're so good in both PvP and PvE. I know that a lot of people are probably going to like not be happy about that at all. I think that's probably a good change for the game. Don't crucify me for that, but it's like every endgame PvE activity, every single day one raid, if you don't have a Well of Radiance on your day one raid team, you're not going to get it done on day one. Like, you're just not going to get it done. Like it's just crazy. I don't know. Don't kill me for that. Stasis. Okay, oh boy. The near and slightly farther future of Stasis. A week and a half ago, Stasis turned 3 years old. Really? Already? A lot has happened in that time. We've seen massive changes in the sandbox as we released the Light 3.0 subclasses. We added Strand as a 5th damage type in Lightfall, and the overall power bar of the sandbox has shifted significantly, resulting in Stasis feeling like it's been left behind. Good. Sorry, had something in my throat. We've given Stasis some tuning updates here and there, but we believe it's time to give her a bigger shot in the arm. They better be careful. They really better be careful. Starting in Season of the Wish and continuing in the final shape, we're making a number of quality of life changes to improve Stasis's reliability in combat, and we're reevaluating some of our previous tuning changes for Stasis abilities with the goal of bringing them up to the current abilities power bar. Let's start off with the Fragment Suite. For this release, We focused on our stat bonuses and penalties, removing those that felt unnecessary, tweaking them to make underperforming picks feel a little more attractive, or shifting them to better suit the gameplay of the fragment. Right. Okay. This is probably a good call. Whisper of Hedrons removed -10 strength penalty. Whisper of Impetus now provides +10 resilience. Whisper of Shards no longer provides 10 resilience. Whisper of Hunger. Stat penalty changed from -10 mobility and -10 intellect to -20 strength. Whisper of Bonds removed the 10 discipline penalty. For our hunters, we're making changes targeted at improving the reliability of Withering Blade in all content and Winter Shroud in PvE. Withering Blade now travels faster, has longer lifetime, bounces an additional time before expiring, and is more consistent in finding a target, both before and after a bounce. That's kind of a nice little change. I like the little Hunter Shuriken. I think it's kind of cool. Increased projectile speed by 10%. Increased maximum projectile lifetime by 10%. Bounce count from 2 to 3. I kind of like that one. And better tracking. Okay, you know what? I'm fine with that. As long as they don't bring back shatter diving, like, sure, yeah. Give me little fun buffs like that, Bungie. That's good. Winter Shroud is getting an update to be more forgiving against PvE combatants with a longer slow duration and increased area of effect. Nice. We're also increasing its slow stack count against PvE combatants from 40 to 60, enabling things like 6th Coyote to more easily freeze enemies, or for a freeze to occur more quickly after a quick Duskfield dodge combo. Okay. PvE buffs. Chat, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. It's fine. I was worried about PvP, but you know, PvE, good. Increased slow stacks applied to PvE combatants from 40 to 60, good. Increased slow duration applied to PvE combatants from 4 to 8. Wow, it's pretty good. Increased slow detonation size versus PvE combatants from 8 to 9. Okay. For Titans, we're walking back a few changes, oh boy, made in hotfixes 3.1.1.1 and 3.2.0.3 to Shiver Strike and Glacial Quake that no longer fit the current sandbox. We've returned the ability to freeze nearby players on cast with Glacial Quake. Oh man, they did it. They did it, the Mad Lads. With a reduced radius, okay, that makes sense, from its previous version, making casting it in close quarters significantly safer. I kind of like that. For Shiver Strike, we've restored its slow application to players on a hit. This was previously removed in a world where collision damage was still lethal. Ah, yes. Now that targets don't need to be able to air brake, right, with a movement mode or risk being splattered, that makes sense. We're more comfortable giving Shiver Strike a bit more offensive spice. Okay, I think that's a dub. That's a dub for the Behemoth bros. All 12 of you out there who still play Behemoth Titan, good day for y'all at home. Shiver Strike now slows players on a hit. A behavior previously removed back in the day fixed an issue where Shiver Strike would not function with the melee kickstart armor mod. Glacial Quake now freezes players nearby on a cast, which was the thing back in the day. On-cast freeze impulse size versus players has been reduced from 8 to 6 meters. We're also implementing a change to improve Howl of the Storm's consistency against players. Seeing a target touching a stasis crystal created by Howl and not being frozen was frustrating. Yeah, that is true. Fixed an issue where Howl of the Storm, slide ice melee thing, was not consistently freezing targets in contact with the created. This is a pretty big glow up for the Behemoth players out there. Oh boy, okay, here we go. For Warlocks, get ready. We're making a couple of quality of life improvements to Frost Pulse, okay, and Penumbral Blast. Shadebinder is a strong pick already, true, and we don't feel like it needs much of a push. So we're focusing on areas where it can sometimes fail the reliability test. Frost Pulse's area of effect is being increased against PvE combatants, and we've improved its network performance. Oh, Time is going to be really happy about that. Dude, he whiffs so many. Don't tell him I said this, Twitch chat. There's so many times in trials that we wipe around because he drops the frost pulse and it doesn't connect. And he's like, fucking connection. Frost pulse. Significantly increased consistency against fast moving targets. This change involved reworking how the ability applies freeze to a target, reducing the latency between when the ability is activated and when the target is actually frozen. He's going to be really happy about that. Freeze detonation size versus PvE combatants increased from 8 to 8.5. Oh, don't spend it all in one place, kid. Penumbral Blast is intended to be a skill shot with a high payout, but the change made in hotfix 3.2.0.3 to reduce the detonation size when impacting the environment can sometimes make it feel too inconsistent. With update 7.3.0, we're increasing that detonation size by 33%. Okay, increased detonation size when impacting environment from 1.5 to 2 meters. Okay. Okay, they should be happy with those changes. No more to Shadebinder. They should be happy with those changes. Those are good for them. Shadebinders will also directly benefit from a tuning change being made to Glacier Grenade. Currently, Bleak Watcher's cooldown is directly tied to the base cooldown of Glacier Grenade, regardless of what grenade you have equipped. With update 7.3.0, Glacier Grenade's cooldown is being reduced, which will also translate to a lower Bleak Watcher cooldown. It's already so fast at tier 10. Reduced base cooldown time from 152 to 121. That's not small. The cooldown penalties for Duskfield Grenade and Cold Snap when Bleak Watcher is equipped have also been updated so that their cooldown times match the new Glacier Grenade cooldown time. Interesting. Although, usually when I rock a Bleak Watcher, I run the double grenade. Oh, but this is going to be affected no matter what because it's tied to the... Oh. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, you're going to get that timer whether you have the Glacier Grenade equipped or not. I don't know. I don't know about that one. We'll see how that plays out. While Cold Snap Grenade's reliability has significantly improved with our recent passes, there are still instances where it can fail to meet expectations. They're buffing Cold Snap? Oh, we're wading into iffy territory now. Fixed an issue where the Seeker was not consistently created in the direction the projectile was moving after a bounce. I've seen that happen many a time. Increased arming shape size from 0.9 meters to 1.4. Tracking strength now ramps down from full strength to 0 over the course of the grenade's lifetime, rather than immediately turning off after the Seeker had reached 0.5 seconds lifetime. That is a big, big glow up for Cold Snap grenades. Time is going to be very happy today. I don't know. I was down with the Hunter changes. I was down with the Titan changes because Behemoths have been bad for a while. This is risky business right here, Twitch chat. This is risky. We'll see how these play out, but I'm like, I've been on board for the majority of these changes. This one, I'm like, we'll see what happens. Finally, we're increasing the bonus damage that special weapons deal to frozen targets by a small amount to help making shattering enemies feel more consistent. Okay, that's fair. Freeze. Increased special ammo weapon damage bonus for frozen targets from 5 to 10. Nice. These aren't the only changes for Stasis we have in the works, and we have some long requested changes for future release that we'll discuss when they're closer. Here's the sneak preview. Jesus Christ. A new Stasis keyword we're tentatively calling Frost Armor, aimed at addressing some of the player feedback regarding survivability when running Stasis, particularly when not using Whisper of Rhyme and Whisper of Chains. Additional tuning changes and reworks to existing Stasis fragments. Adding additional behavior to harvest aspects. I'm only mildly laughing at this one because while Frost Armor does sound cool, didn't we just read minutes ago that Bungie's like, man, we're making Guardians too powerful. It's getting really hard to balance endgame PvE difficulty with all the stuff we have going on. So we're going to walk some of this stuff back. introducing frost armor. It's like, fuck. They're probably going to release it not overly strong. It might be weak to make sure that they're not conflicting with what they mentioned earlier about the Guardians being too powerful. We'll see how that goes. Tune in next week for the full list of patch notes, which will include a few items we didn't mention here. As always, we'll continue to digest feedback as it's coming in, so please keep it coming. Okay, moving on. Upcoming exotic armor and armor mod changes. It's time for another set of exotic armor balance changes. We once again wanted to buff some underused exotics with a particular focus this time on broadening the number of viable melee-oriented exotic options for all three classes, okay? We also wanted to improve the least too popular Aeon cult sex, with the goal that running a team of Aeon would provide more value in high-end PvE play. We also snuck in a few miscellaneous changes, okay, sure. Here are the details broken down by class. Please note that unless otherwise specified, the following changes leave the rest of the exotics benefits intact. Okay. Hunter. Shards of Galanor. Throwing knife kills now grant super energy ranging between 2.5% and 5%, depending on the type of enemy killed. Interesting. Okay, earlier today on stream, we were talking about how at the beginning of Season of the Witch, Bungie accidentally changed the text description of a couple pieces of exotic armor, including Shards of Galanor, which seems to now have the buff that was hinted at with that accidental text change. Interesting. I wonder if that means there's a Stompees change. Interesting. Wow, okay, this might be an interesting day. Ophidia. Knife kills now grant a stacking damage bonus, 30, 60, 100%. Wow, for 5 seconds to throwing knives. Dodging refreshes the duration. Okay, I kind of dig that. Stompees! All right, chat, hold on to your butts. Feedback about the previous Stompees change indicated that requiring full class ability made movement while wearing this exotic feel too variable between its states and disproportionately hurt certain builds. That is putting it lightly. In this update, we have removed the requirement of having full dodge energy to activate the benefits and have reduced the bonus to airborne lateral acceleration that the exotic provides to be more in line with its other bonuses: sprint speed, grounded acceleration, airborne, vertical acceleration, slide distance, and jump height in terms of effectiveness. We also added DR when airborne in PvE, to make Stompees a more desirable option. This is like a half cheer. Oh man, it was all going well. It was going well until that second bullet point. I don't know, depending on how different the quote reduced airborne lateral acceleration bonus is, it's either going to be not very noticeable or the Stompees mains are going to complain more than they did when they had to have their dodge charge full. Because, yay, they took away the requirement of having your dodge, but yeah, I feel like they're going to be mad about it. Yeah. So can't wait to open Twitter after reading the TWID today. Oh boy, that's just a hot topic I don't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Walla is already writing an angry. I'm going to DM Walla. I'm going to DM Walla. I'm going to DM, who am I going to DM? I'm going to DM DeFizzle. I'm going to DM a couple people. I'm going to talk to Kujay. I want to talk to a couple people about the Stompees changes. I am predicting they are not going to be happy about those changes. We'll see. Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves. The sidearm damage bonus now persists for 5 seconds after your shields begin to recharge. Sidearm kills extend the damage bonus duration by 3 seconds and completely reload your sidearm from reserves. The damage bonus has been reduced in PvP to compensate for it lasting longer. It is now 10% sidearm damage, down from 35%. That's fair. I don't think many people will complain about that. Bombardiers now applies 20 slow stacks to enemy players and 40 slow stacks to PvE combatants. What was it before? Triton Vice increased glaive melee damage bonus while surrounded to plus 100% for both PvE and PvP, up from 30%, wow, in PvE and 10% in PvP. Jeez, okay. It's a big change. Big change. We'll see how that plays out, especially with the other glaive changes coming in Season of the Wish. Celestial Caw. Precision kills now grant super energy ranging from 1.5 to 4.5%, depending on the type of target killed. Makes sense. Titan. Severance Enclosure. Increased size and damage of the explosion. How much are we talking here? Kills with the exotic explosion will now trigger an additional explosion. Okay. Do those explosions trigger an additional explosion? That could be very interesting. I guess we'll see. Peregrine Greaves. You now have to be airborne for a brief time before the exotic effects apply. Boo. That makes sense. Damaging champions, tormentors, or mini-bosses with a shoulder charge deals further increased damage and refunds your melee energy. Okay, that I like. That's fair. That's fair. Can't make Peregrine too good, right? Worm God. Remember when people cared about that exotic? The Burning Fist exotic effect has been reworked. It's now a meter that increases with melee kills and finishers and decays over time. The meter is broken up into 5 sections, which provide escalating melee and glaive melee damage bonuses. The upper end of the meter also provides escalating weapon damage bonuses. Wow, these are a lot of changes. As the meter decays, it passes back through the earlier tiers rather than deactivating immediately. Okay. The meter decays more quickly the more full it is. Of course it does. Okay, fair enough. That's an interesting change. Ashen Wake. Fusion grenades impacts now stun unstoppable champions. Great. Okay. Cool. Sure. Why not? Synthoceps. While we wanted to bring the generic melee bonus down a bit to give space for other, more specialized melee exotics to shine in their specific niches, we felt it was safe to bring Synthoceps' glaive melee bonus back up a substantial amount. I'm getting kind of worried about how much attention glaives are getting moving into season 23. I don't like glaives. I don't want glaives to shine too bright, especially in PvP. PvE, I don't really care. We have also swapped the increased melee lunge range for increased weapon handling and reload speed. Removed extended melee lunge distance. Oh boy. Now improves weapon handling and reload speed when surrounded. Reduced the PvE surrounded melee damage bonus to 165% from 200%. Increased glaive melee bonus from 100 to 100 from 50%. Syntho users are mad. Precious Scars. Kill with weapons matching your subclass now apply Restoration Tier 1 for 1.5 seconds in PvP and 3 in PvE. Okay, interesting. Warlock. Balados Wrath Weavers. Now, when you cast a Frost Pulse Rift, nearby allies gain a Tier 2 Stasis Surge weapon bonus for 10 seconds in PvE and 5 seconds in PvP. And they gain a 50 HP overshield. Okay. All right. So they're going to be really good in PvP, is what you're saying. So they're going to be. So we're entering a Balados Wrathweaver. That is 100% going to be used in PvP all the time, all the time. A 5-second tier 2 Stasis Surge weapon buff for free and a 50 HP overshield. Okay. The damage bonus provided to allies by the Winter's Wrath Shockweave is now the tier 4 Stasis Surge weapon bonus. When your Winter's Wrath ends, you gain the tier 4 Stasis Surge weapon bonus as well. Got it. Okay. It's going to be really good in PvP, I'm telling you. Okay. Apotheosis Veil. Casting your super now grants Cure tier 3 for you and nearby allies. Still don't care. After your super ends, you now temporarily gain greatly increased melee, greatly increased for 8 seconds. I don't know if that'll be enough for me to put it on, but I do find that to be interesting. Okay. Fellwinter's Helm moved the size of the weakening burst and duration of weaken up 1 tier against all targets, except for finishers against bosses, which retains the maximum size and duration. Okay, fair. Karnstein. Melee kills now grant Cure tier 3 and Restoration tier 1 for 8 seconds. Finishers now grant Cure tier 3 and Restoration tier 2 for 8 seconds. Okay, so not a rework, just a buff. Nice. Aeon Cult, Aeon Swift, Aeon Safe, and Aeon Soul exotic armor all received the following changes to their Sect mods. Sect of Force. This has been reworked to be all about providing your allies significant bonus weapon damage against powerful combatants. The bonus grenade and melee energy has been moved to be the special benefit granted to Aeon Cult allies using a different sect. Okay, rapid precision hits provide quicker reload and weapon swap speeds, and the bonus now lasts for 10 seconds, up from 6. No longer grants bonus melee, grenade, or super energy on stunning a champion or defeating a boss or mini-boss. Instead, stunning a champion or rapid precision hits on a champion, elite, or mini-boss will mark them for your allies. Allies deal 20% more damage to marked targets? Interesting. Only champions, elites, and mini-bosses, though. Okay, that is smart. Because adding bosses to that would be, that is really good. Adding bosses to that paragraph would be probably too much. When a target is first marked, nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sect of Force role equipped gain grenade and melee energy. Sect of Insight. Sect of Insight had a strong role in endgame PvE teams, and we don't want to change that. The one modification we do want to make is changing the Aeon Cult ally bonus to be super energy instead of weapon damage, as we want Sect of Force to be the source of weapon bonuses. Nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sect of Insight role equipped no longer gain a bonus to weapon damage for a short time. Instead, they gain a burst of super energy. Okay, that makes sense. I get what they're going for there. Sect of Vigor already had a strong theme as the supporting role in the Aeon Cult. We wanted to boost its effectiveness by having it provide damage resist in PvE in addition to its class ability benefits. Our goal is to make Sect of Vigor players shepherds for their team. Shepherd. Keeping their allies near to protect them from harm. Now provides DR against combatants when an ally dies or is resurrected, in addition to the existing class ability energy. When you cast your super, nearby allies no longer gain an instant burst of healing or an overshield. Instead, nearby critically wounded allies gain damage resistance from combatants as long as they stay near you. Nearby Aeon Cult allies who do not have the Sect of Vigor role equipped will also recover class ability energy more quickly. Those are all the changes planned for exotic armor that will be available the moment Season of the Wish launches. As always, let us know how you feel about these, try them in your favorite activities, and keep that so precious feedback coming. Boy, oh boy. Armor mod changes. In addition to the exotic changes listed above, we're also adjusting several armor mods. To reiterate what was touched on in the gameplay section, the high potential power output of abilities means they need to have proportional uptime and require meaningful and sometimes difficult build crafting choices. Currently, the high watermark for ability uptime is higher than we'd like. In order for us to hit our broader goals of reining in ability energy sources across the sandbox, we need to reduce the amount of energy fed into the energy economy via armor mods. Oh boy. Heavy-handed, very popular. Firepower and Reaper. These now have a 10-second cooldown for generating an orb of power. That makes sense. Reaper also requires a kill to be secured within 10 seconds of using your class ability. I get it. Melee Kickstart, Grenade Kickstart, and Utility Kickstart now provides between 16% and 45% ability energy and requires at least a single armor charge to be consumed. Momentum Transfer, Bolstering Detonation, Impact Induction, and Focusing Strike now provide 12, 17, 20% ability energy for 1, 2, 3 stacks, respectively, and require a powered melee attack. These are interesting changes. Outreach and Bomber now provide 12, 17, 20 ability energy for 1, 2, and 3 stacks. Outreach, Bomber, and Distribution. Outreach and Bomber now provide 12, 17, 20 ability energy. Distribution now provides 4, 6, 7% ability energy. Energy provided is further reduced based on the cooldown of the class ability used, with the shortest cooldowns reducing it by 60%. Okay. We believe these changes will help return some meaningful choice to both ability usage and the armor charge system, while still allowing each armor mod to provide a valuable effect. I'm going to need to think about that for a minute. It definitely will change up how people put builds together, or at least maybe make people think twice before putting on an armor mod, because a lot of the times now people just go straight up right to the top shelf. You just put on, like, you know, the best shit. Heavy-handed, double heavy-handed, triple heavy-handed, Banner of War, Strand Titan, you know, yada, yada, yada. Like, yeah, that's an interesting decision. I think that might make PvE more challenging, but I'm not sure if it will be doing it in a way that the majority of the player base will get behind. People don't like having their power or fun taken away from them. But I understand why Bungie is doing this. I'll reserve further judgment until I get my hands on the changes. Okay. LF5M, Fireteam Finder, 1810, know what to do, I'm Warlock. After almost 2 years of hard work, we will start Fireteam Finder's beta test shortly after Season of the Wish launches. Starting on November 30th, players will have access to the first public raid stress test of the new group finding tool, while we gather data to help those to get things working smoothly. This first test will likely focus only on raids. Be aware that this is one of the most ambitious launches we've had for Destiny in a long time. So please be patient. It will be broken. And share all your feedback so we can work the gremlins out of the system. Our goal with this launch is clear: to ensure Fireteam Finder scales properly for millions of players and to deliver a world-class LFG tool for all activities in the near future. We have a lot more to share. Yeah, we read that article already today. If you want more info about that, check out the article from Bungie earlier today that came out before the TWID dropped. Okay. Update to the cutscene archive. This video is probably going to be so long already, I don't think I need to cover this. If you're interested about changes to the cutscene archive, go check that out. Some very good D2 and Bungie store deals. For those looking to upgrade their D2 catalog, we have good news for you. Lightfall and other content packs are up to 67% off on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam until November 28th. Doesn't stop there, though. Starting November 24th, the Bungie store begins its biggest sale of the year and relaunches limited quantities of previously retired Bungie rewards. Those participating in the sale will receive the Darkstar emblem with any purchase made during this period. Also, throughout the sale, all orders shipped in the 48 contiguous US states, EU, and UK will have a $7 flat rate shipping kit. The Bungie store sale ends on December 1st at 8:59 p.m. Pacific time. And last but not least, the new Wishing Well emblem will also be available for purchases made on November 24th and later during Season of the Wish. Oh, the wishing well emblem. Okay. Smart by Bungie. They know that people really love emblems. Okay. Regarding the player support report, I'll let people go through that at their leisure. Same thing with known issues. Same thing with movie of the week. Let me quickly check out the artist of the week. That is goddamn dope. I love everything about that. Quality art. There we go. We hope the info shared today will help you assemble the most powerful build to face the many challenges that are coming. We can't wait to see what crazy combinations you end up making while playing the new season. Okay, basically TWID over. Quick thoughts. Quick thoughts on what we just read. For the most part, I'm down with a lot of those changes. I'm down with the attempt to make maybe PvE endgame content more challenging, because I do feel like a lot of the time we just go to the top shelf stuff, and we're pretty strong right now. To quote Datto, who has said this many times, the Guardians, we've never been this powerful before. We are really powerful. And I kind of dig what they're trying to do by making certain changes to make PvE more challenging in that way. I was worried about the Stasis ability changes, and I am, but only for Warlock. I feel like Behemoth got damage undone to them, which they very badly needed. The Hunter changes seemed fine. I think the Stasis might be more appealing for Hunter and for Titan. I'm a little worried about Warlock. Shadebinder is already really good, and they're giving it just a touch more. And then I was worried a little bit, and I was like, oh, better Bleak Watcher cooldown. Oh, by the way, we're reworking an exotic to give you a free Stasis weapon surge, and you get a 50 HP overshield. It's like, You might see more Shadebinder in Season of the Wish. I think a lot of the exotic armor reworks are interesting. I'm excited to try the most of them. I feel like Bungie really could have gotten a lot of, how do I put this, brownie points with a complete reversal of the Stompees Changes. They're testing, I feel like they're testing how much change they can bring to Stompees. I feel like the Stompee mains are not going to like the changes. I don't know. I'm going to have to talk to a few of them. I don't really wear them anymore, but interesting nonetheless. If you have thoughts on the TWID, please let me know what they are down in the comment section of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry the video was so long, and I'll see you next time.